Oh, Tommy, I like what I'm seeing here. A little flooring mock-up. We got some hardwood floor. We got a demo going on?
Got a demo on how to do it. This represents the floor, obviously, and this represents the walls.
And what are we thinking of putting down?
Well, this is 3/4 inch tongue and groove pre-finished oak flooring. It's about 3 1/4 inches wide.
Okay.
And the pre-finish is really nice because once it's down, you're done.
Yep.
Okay, so basically tongue and groove means that it's fastened through the tongue, and the groove goes into the tongue after it's fastened, and that holds it, the backside of the board, from coming up.
Gotcha. Regardless of the species or even pre-finished or non-finished, installation lessons are pretty much universal.
Pretty much the same.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna nail it down. You can glue them down also. Some companies nail them and glue them at the same. All right, so the first process that you wanna think about is how straight your walls are. The first thing that you do is you place a board against the wall. We don't want it to be tight to the wall, so we're gonna pull it away slightly. So I've got about 3/16 of an inch there. So I'm gonna put a little mark on the floor, lining it up with the tongue sticks out.
This is to allow that expansion and contraction around the edges.
Around the whole edges. So I'll take a measurement off of the wall to the line that I just drew. It's 3 5/8 in there. So let's say this room's 12 or 14 feet long.
Yep.
And we'll take the same measurement here, and we'll snap a chalk line. Okay. Okay, so now what we have is a chalk line that gives us a straight line off of this wall. So if there's any imperfections at all, we don't worry about it because that will get covered by either the baseboard that's going to go on here afterwards or a shoe molding.
And if we don't get this first course straight, every course afterwards is going to follow our mistake.
Exactly.
So this is the important one.
It's very important. What I want to do is I want to run a bead of construction adhesive against the back side here of the flooring.
So in this situation, Tommy, is the construction adhesive that you're putting down something you're going to do under every board, or is this just for your starter course?
For this application, we're just going to do it on the first course. But there are mastics that you can put down and trowel over the entire floor and glue it down and also nail it down at the same time.
Okay.
All right, so now we just take the piece. All right, so now we're going to put it down. I'm going to look down so I've got my line straight, like that.
Okay, I'm on the line there.
Okay, so now you're looking down, you can see the outside of the tongue lines up with that chalk line. So because I can't get the flooring gun in here, I'm going to face nail it back here. There.
So you're just using a little finish nailer?
I'm using a 2-inch nail, and we're going to fill those holes later with some matching putty.
So that's not going anywhere.
Right, but I still want to put a filler in here to lock that in because when we're doing the floor, we're going to be banging against this and we don't want it to slide.
Gotcha. So just a couple shims
Put a
to
couple of shims here.
give you some resistance.
Right, so now...
I know it's sort of self-explanatory, but in this case, you've got the tongue sticking out.
Right.
Because we're going to nail at an angle through that tongue eventually.
Right, now I'm going to use a gun, this finish gun here, nail here. And I want to be anywhere between 8, 10, or 12 inches apart.
So that becomes hidden, and you couldn't use your floor nailer this close to the wall.
Right, I can show you right now. See how wide this gun is?
This is already hanging over the wall. You wouldn't be able to get even that close.
Right, I'm going to have to put 2 or 3 rows down before I can use this.
Okay.
So now what I want to do is I want to measure for this length, but I don't want to measure, I just want to mark. So I take a piece of flooring like this, all right? That's how the flooring is going to go, but I want to make groove to tongue. So if I take the board and I flip it over like this, and I bring it here to the wall, and I just keep the same eyeball, the same kind of space that I have here, and I mark it right here.
Flush with the finished end of that first board.
Flush with the finished edge, and I'll transfer it up. Now, you want to cut that right there, and we'll try putting that piece in. And while you're cutting that, I'm going to start the next piece. The next piece that goes in, I'm gonna line it up, have my gap, tap it in with the hammer. That piece you'll lay in, pick it up, slide it in that. That's right, drop it down, eyeball the edge right here, making sure that it's even and lines up. Okay, that's good. So we have to put a finish nail in there.
Again, careful with the line, because whatever we do on this course is going to transfer to all the other courses.
Yeah, if this line isn't straight, you're right, it's going to get worse the wider the room gets. Okay, so now I'll put a couple here.
Okay.
So now I've tapped this one in place. I've got my expansion joint there. I'll put a couple in here.
So in this case, with the second course, you've no need to face nail this end.
Nope.
Just a blind nailer, because now we're catching tongue and groove.
Exactly. We can't pick that back side up.
Right. This won't come up.
All right, so now we take the next piece that's going to go in, and I put the end into the groove, the tongue that's sticking out, and I look at the joint here. I make sure that we're not lined up, so I want to go past it.
What do you think's a good number for going past it?
I'd say 4 inches to 6 inches minimum. All right, I bring it in, lay it in place, and I'm going to have to tack it here. So now, while I'm tacking this, I can get another piece, and I want the piece can be much longer, all right? So this piece is going to go in like this, but I need this over here. So again, what I do is flip it over. Now the groove is down here, goes against the wall, allow for my space, or I can push it tight to the wall and mark to the long part of the tongue.
Right.
All right, so now that will give me the gap that I need. And we cut that, and we'll use those pieces in a second. Okay, so now this piece here grooves in like that. Bring it over here, tap it. The idea of the rubber mallet, see, I can bounce it off the floor and slap it over like that.
If a homeowner rents a flooring nailer,
Yep.
they're going to get one of these mallets that comes with the nailer.
Exactly. So now this leftover piece I would take down here because the groove is gone, but the tongue is still here. But there's a problem. If I put it in here, the joints line up.
Almost perfectly.
So now there's two solutions that I can do. I can take this piece and cut about 5 inches off of it. That will get me over here. Or I can take another piece and put this down.
Right.
And I have my offset that I want, and I'm ready to nail it. Put it like that. Now, to speed up the process, we're going to use our stapler right here.
So at this point, we are far enough away from the wall that the big nailer stapler can come in.
Right. Now this will sit right here on the floor.
So it catches onto the edge of the board right
Right.
here.
The wall is here. I'm all set. I go in, and all I do is whack it.
Completely hidden. Oh, you got staples in this, huh, Tommy?
Right. The staples like that.
Yeah. So you prefer that to a flooring nail?
I like a staple because it's a thin wire, less chance of splitting the wood, and there's 2 legs. So it really holds well.
Yep, and then they're completely hidden, so you're well fastened there.
So that's attached. We've got our offset good, and now we're just ready to mark the next one. Now I've got little room, so I can't swing. We're going to jack it over. There it is, nice and tight. Okay, we can take out our shims. Once the baseboard or shoe molding's in place, that gap is finished up, and you have a nice finished floor.
And in terms of any of the face nails, Tom, that are still showing, just a...
Yeah, we can use that putty stick to match the color, buff it out, and it'll disappear.
Looks awesome. Nice job, real good tips.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button. make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.